Let's get into this since we was already talking about Michael and his relationship with his daughter. Now let's talk about Michael alone. So I believe when is it coming out? Next month, June. I think next week actually. Oh yeah, June 3rd. There is a Michael Jackson biopic that is not biopic, but it's like a docu-series, 3-part that's coming to Netflix. And apparently, it's caused a lot of backlash online, and because I guess due to the timing of the docu series coming out, that it's like, oh, y'all, Netflix is trying to piggyback off of the success of the Michael movie, which is almost teetering at crossing $1 billion. So Jackson, one of the most famous and beloved figures in pop culture of all time, was charged with what they said was charged with multi Netflix's new doc, Michael Jackson: The Verdict, revisits the case and features numerous key individuals who were inside the courtroom, including jurors, eyewitnesses, accusers, and defenders alike. Um, Plea accounts of child molestation in 2003. First of all, y'all need to proofread this article because I'm like, that whole sentence didn't even make sense. But anyway, the trial set off a media firestorm and courtroom proceedings that captivated the world and kept him at the center of headlines for months. His acquittal, of all accounts, all only further stroked public interest, and questions remain over his innocence. Netflix new doc Michael Jackson: The Verdict revisits the case and features numerous key individuals who were inside the courtroom. And they said fans of the star have taken to social media to criticize Netflix over the timing of the doc's release, which is coming just weeks after the release of its critically panned but highly profitable biopic, saying this is disgraceful from Netflix. Every other studio is regretting that they passed on the Michael movie and ended up being a huge success. So they make this in retaliation to try to gain some money from it all. What a joke, remarked one angry fan. A second commented, it was already decided that Michael was innocent. And if anyone really wants to decide without watching this sensationalist bullshit, just read the court transcripts. Well, that's true. And the response to this, because they said if anyone really wants to decide in the trailer when you watch it, they said something or another alluding to, and I'm paraphrasing, it was like, we'll leave it up to you to decide whether or not he's guilty or innocent. No, this is not about the court of public opinion. When that trial happened in 2005, he was found innocent. So therefore, if the jury and everything it says on the paperwork that he's innocent, he is innocent. And I just hate the fact that Michael is still having to deal with this even in death because, and here's the thing, do I think that Michael Jackson diddled with children? I don't think he did. I truly believe that he is one of those rare breeds that had a genuine, innocent love for children because in his mind, that's his happy place. He never got to really have the childhood that he's wanted because of his father forcing him to work at the age of 6 because daddy didn't want to be in the poverty anymore. So when he discovered that his children had talent, he put a band together, had them traveling and performing, and Michael's career took off at the age of 6. So he's never really had that moment of like the rest of us, where we got to go out and play and hang out with our friends and do all the other stuff after we did our schoolwork or whatever. The boy was working at 6 years old. That's the most slave labor type shit when you look back on it. So I do feel like when he was running around hanging out with children and built this little fortress, the Neverland Ranch, and having the merry-go-round and all the things that he couldn't, because he couldn't go to a regular place and go on the roller coasters or whatever the case. Or maybe he could shut down Six Flags, whatever, and spend a day with some kids and do that. And he probably did do that. But he also turned his estate into like an amusement park. And so that way he can have all the things that with all the money that he had, he could buy all the things that he wasn't able to do and bring kids over and play with them and stuff. But I do think there were some parents that saw dollar signs and decided to lie and whore out their children in order to get a payday. And what Michael should have did was, instead of settling, which opens up a Pandora's box for other people to come in and spread lies and vitriol and all this other stuff, you open up a Pandora's box for other people to do the same because you settled with the Chandler family. And I also find it interesting that back in the day, because I remember when Martin Bashir did an interview with Michael Jackson, and the way he was spinning that story, he was trying to make my, and then Mike would always catch him. He was like, "Well, the way you spinning it, the way you saying it, you making it sound like that I'm doing inappropriate stuff with the kids." He said, "We giving them warm milk, we eating cookies, we watching movies, and we sleeping bags. And I'm sleeping on the floor, and they sleep in the bed. Like we're not doing anything sexual. We're like." He's like a big kid, so he's hanging out with these kids, and I do think that there's some old fucked up ass parents who saw a payday in this situation and decided to use their children to get back at them. Wade Robson, fake ass, decided went back in the day and said, "Oh, well, Michael didn't touch him in any inappropriate way." Then years later, you file a lawsuit with James Safechuck. Macaulay Culkin's been consistent on the fact that Michael never touched him. Corey Feldman's another one. Now I know Corey Feldman. We kind of side on him on a lot of shit that he does, but at least he's been fairly consistent in regards of his relationship with Michael. Said Michael never touched him either, and you already know Corey Feldman has been dealt with plenty of times in Hollywood. So if you're thinking that if you got that energy about you and you've been passed around quite a bit and you've been SA'd by a lot of executives in Hollywood, Michael would have did something to him. Trust to believe Corey would have said something. But Corey was like, no, he never touched me in any way. Even when Michael died, Martin Bashir came out and was like, back when even when I interviewed him and you was doing all that sensationalist shit for ratings, he was like, yeah, he never, when he was up in that house, he didn't find no kind of evidence stating that Michael had did anything to them kids. The evidence is out there because he spoke about it back when Michael died. And why is it that it had to take for that man to die for all of a sudden y'all grow a fucking backbone and be like, well, now that he's dead, I want to come out and bring the truth. But before I'm gonna keep quiet because I wanted to be messy, because I wanted the ratings. And then after that whole thing with Martin Bashir, Maury Povich did a follow-up interview. I was watching the interviews and stuff earlier today. So if you want, you could definitely go on to YouTube and look it up. Because Maury Povich did a follow-up interview at the Neverland Ranch where he discussed with Michael because Michael didn't like how that last what was it? That last, I think it was a documentary, but also the Martin Bashir, he didn't like how that whole thing came out. So we sat down with Maury Povich. Yeah, Mister, you are not the father. So it's sad that damn near 20 years, because it's been 17 years since the man dead. 3 more years, it'd be 20. It's been almost 2 decades since Michael been in the grave, and y'all still out here exploiting this man. I don't want to get like those people where it's just like, well, now because like before when they were somehow, and speaking of which, they were somehow one of the guys that produced. Before I forget, that produced this Netflix docuseries, also produced that Martin Bashir interview. So that kind of lets you know where the shit lies. I was trying to see if the guy's name was in here, but no, it says that it was directed by Nick Green and EP by Fiona Starton. But I forgot. Yeah, I don't see the other producer's name in here that has something to do with that situation. But yeah, and it's been 20 years since that last trial. Like, why are we still talking about this now? If they want to address this, kind of make me feel like, well, damn, now I'm gonna be like one of those fans that, yeah, let's not address the allegations in the movie. I do think that y'all should just address it and just remember that whichever case y'all take on, Michael was found innocent. So y'all can play that up how you want. Lifetime movie of the week, that shit when it comes down to writing the script, like to say, give it a little extra fluff. But yeah, to me, it's just like this. This feels like a shakedown. It feels like some bullshit. It does definitely feels like Netflix being messy, and I like Netflix. Y'all be having some good stuff on there. If I could take the time to sift through all the quantity, because y'all don't be giving quality on that channel. All the quantity that you be giving. If I could find something on there to watch, then yeah. But for the most part, it just seems like this is like people are saying a cash grab because a lot of y'all didn't want to touch the a lot of y'all didn't want to touch the biopic except Lionsgate, and Lionsgate got a huge hit on their hands. So at first I thought about I was gonna watch it. Now I'm not. I'll just read the transcripts. So I definitely want to hear from y'all. What do you guys think of this story? Is this a docu-series that you still gonna check out, even though I gave you all the information I need to be given and it's gotten a lot of backlash? I mean, at the end of the day, you can decide if you're not familiar with the case, then go ahead and watch it. But I just don't like with the fact of where they put this angle of like, well, it's once you watch it, then you decide whether or not Michael was innocent or guilty. And it's like, it's not up to the people. The people are not lawyers. The people are not jurors. The case happened 20 years ago. So yeah, we could sit and watch it and you'll get your ratings and you'll be able to profit from it. But at the end of the day, the case came and went. The case is almost 20 years old. It is no matter what. It's not even up to us to have a real opinion or think about whatever it is that we need to think about because it's public knowledge. So, and it happened, and we already know the verdict. So, let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below.